There's only one takeaway from the president's speech last night marking 1 month of Operation Epic Fury, which sounds like a bad movie because it is. And it was given appropriately on April Fool's Day. And by the way, none of this is to negate the risk that this regime has presented for decades. That's the easy part. What to do about it is what we are now seeing to be the hard part. Okay? Here's the takeaway. The war is all but over. The message was clear in what the president said and didn't say and how it came across. Just listen.
Our enemies are losing in America, as it has been for 5 years under my presidency, is winning, and now winning bigger than ever before. We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong. When this conflict is over, the strait will open up naturally.
I want to make a deal or send you to the Stone Age. The regime is desperate for a ceasefire, but we may bomb them into the Stone Age. How do you do that without massacring innocents who expected you to take out the regime? Today, we destroyed a major bridge. How does that hurt the regime? It just makes life harder for the people trapped there. And then the strait will just naturally reopen. The last time we heard that something would just go away, he was talking about COVID. Remember that? I still have long COVID, by the way. It is all so foolish, so haphazard, so self-contradictory that clearly there is no plan except to find a way out. And that means this war is all but over. And I think no matter how it ends, that's a good thing if you care about what's happening at home. Whatever could be achieved militarily without a repeat of Gaza-style massacre of non-combatants has been achieved. And the president could define it and the politicians fight over it, but that is what it is. Clearly, there's no real deal-making. The guy the president said was the new and better leader in Iran is neither new nor better, and the guy immediately put out a letter refuting any notion that he or the regime is changing for the better or that he wants a ceasefire. It's over. Trump can't put boots on the ground. Even if he applied the absolute lightest touch, there's almost no upside. Oh, yeah, no, you got to get rid of the nukes. How? How does that work? What does that look like? Forget the idea that the goal is for Iran to have no nukes, to ensure it. It is clear there's nothing we can do to ensure anything in that area. Trump said he obliterated their capacity, and then just months later, it was stronger than ever. Whether they lied or got it wrong, either way, you can't trust what they say about that. And the idea that now, well, we got to stick it out now, we got to open the strait. No thanks. We're the reason it's closed. We misplayed that. Some kind of deal is going to have to be made. You got 24 countries that are now coming in to force a settlement. We have suffered economic hardship that will not go as quickly as it came. And all of that is more reason to get out. And if things go pear-shaped on the exit, which they may, Trump will blame the regime or the people around him. You think it's a coincidence that Hegseth fired the Army Chief of Staff today? Why? You know why he did it, to satisfy the boss before it's his own head. We'll see how much time that buys, Mr. War Secretary. Look, you have never heard this president take responsibility for anything but perceived wins, and that's not going to change. He just fires the people around him. Ask Pam Bondi, the first public official I've ever heard of being removed for not being corrupt enough. Does anyone think the slow walking, the resistance to the Epstein disclosure, you really think that was her idea alone? Look, I know a lot of you say you voted for an end to lawfare and to get back to law and order, but you cannot look at that DOJ and think that it is doing anything but the opposite of that. Pam Bondi was fired for not doing enough lawfare. So look, here's our question. What comes next? There and here. The Democrats need to jump on this opportunity, force the focus back at home. I know there's a temptation to blame Trump for whatever the regime does now and what a waste this war was. I get it, but it's low percentage. Not that Americans don't care about the Iranian people and that this hasn't been something that is absolutely worthy of criticism. And we should care about the Iranian people, and we should care about what this was and was not. But Americans care more about their own fates at home. You want muscular resistance? Good. Fix America first. That is the battle cry Americans want to hear. Fight the real war. Fight what really menaces them. It's been 1 year since Trump's Liberation Day. Nearly none of the promises have come to pass. No manufacturing boom, period. We lost over 100,000 manufacturing jobs. Every time they adjust the jobs, we have lost more. And one of the reasons they have to adjust them is because DOGE took out the people who do the analysis. There is no increased investment. Foreign investment went down last year. Our prices went up, period. I don't care what O'Reilly says, okay? He can protect the guy all he wants, but he can't change the facts. The Fed estimates over 10% of the inflation pain we felt last year was from the tariffs. And now his war of choice is costing $1 billion a day, and his party wants to pay for that by cutting programs for the poor. Who will fight the real enemies? The impact of the tariffs, the cost of living that is chaos. Did you know 97% of U.S. importers are small businesses? Did you know that over the year, the engines of our economy, the small businesses, have paid $300 grand each on average? Many have paid much, much more. They've had to lay off workers, raise prices, and a lot of them are losing customers to guess who? The big corporations that absorb the tariff costs. Fight for the small businesses in America. Fight that fight. Fight for the backbone of the economy. They're taking a beating because of the tariffs. Fight that fight. Did you know that some of them are still paying tariffs? I thought they were found to be illegal. I thought they were supposed to put a system in place to have them repaid. How come it's still not happening? How come they got to be forced to do it? You're okay with that? Go after the healthcare providers, the prescription drug price pirates. The fake war is all but over. The exit may be messy and protracted, but there's clearly no plan or greater ambition. We'll see how degraded the regime in Iran is and what it does to people there, in the region, and maybe, God forbid, back here at home. But the focus will shift, and that is when the real war can begin. And in case that's not clear enough, I'm talking about the war at home, the cost of living, not going to Cuba, okay? So, am I right about what last night meant and did not mean, politically and militarily? Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.